Here we are live from the Esports Trade Association with our chairman of our membership committee, James Huss. James, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Megan. I appreciate that very warm introduction. I'm excited to be here and to be the chair of the membership committee for the Esports Trade Association this year. Today, we're joined by some fabulous people. This is part of a new series that we're planning on running called the New and Renewed Member Celebration, where you'll get a chance to be a fly on the wall as our new members get together and talk about both what they're interested in doing in esports and also who they're trying to connect with and maybe the type of companies or people that would be best to utilize and leverage their experience. So we've got some fantastic guests who are going to be talking to each other. And I've got the wonderful Dr. Amy Shez with Intent Brands, drinkonthesly.com. I would just like to point out that it is a delicious beverage. A huge fan of the chill products, and I'm very excited to have Dr. Amy here to help us out. So Dr. Amy, if you don't mind, take us away.
Absolutely. Well, thank you, Megan Van Petten and James and all of our guests here today for Esports Trade Association. It is fantastic to see all of our new members here and old friends and new in the making. So I'm Dr. Amy Ches, CEO and co-founder of Intent Brands and Sly, as James so generously provided where I'm coming from. And I'm here to make a positive impact in the gaming community and in esports by using a beverage. So I'm a beverage entrepreneur, an eye doctor by trade. I've been in practice for over 22 years. And I have to tell you that in the past year with being in Esports Trade Association, I've made some amazing developments, friendships, networking, and just learning as a newcomer to the industry. So if you're that person and you're that brand, you're that group who's been around the block or is new to the industry, Esports Trade Association always has a nugget for you to learn and some amazing people to meet. We'll talk about that later. But to get us started, I'd like to start with introducing Veronica. So Veronica, why don't you come on in and tell us a little bit about you?
Yeah, thank you, Amy. Yeah, so I'm the CEO of Jumpstart Now. We are a digital marketing agency with several superpowers in the social media space, ad space, and content space. And currently what we're doing in esports is we're helping our clients with event marketing. So I'm originally from the gaming industry. I feel like I'm coming full circle. I'm really excited to be part of the association and to collaborate with everybody here. So it's exciting to be live on LinkedIn, which this is my first live. So lots of new things today. And I appreciate being included here. Thank you.
And I want to suggest that we take any comments or questions from the audience. Feel free to drop them into the chat, and you can have them answered or addressed by a panel here. Not a panel, we're just having fun here. But Veronica, I really wanted to know, because event marketing is a question that we get a ton of questions about. Could you just go into maybe just a real high-level overview of what you want people to think about when they think about event marketing?
Yeah, so I wanna stress, especially in the esports space, that you consider also platforms that are outside of what you would consider the more well-known social media platforms, because we're also involved in Twitch and in Discord, although Discord is obviously not a marketing platform, but it's where everybody hangs out. So it's more of an out-of-the-box thinking strategically. How can we market without marketing, keeping everybody updated? It's very much about communication during the event, and then what we do before and after. So it needs to be out of the box. It can't be cookie cutter. Every client is different. Every audience is different. Yeah.
All right, Dr. Amy, who we got next?
So how about Taryn? I see you in the middle.
Okay, perfect. Good afternoon, all. Thank you for tuning in today. Appreciate you taking time on your busy schedules. I am Taryn Morgan, born and raised Neptune, New Jersey, and now transplant to Baltimore, which is now my second home, which is within Maryland. I am a longtime educator, mental health advocate, and got into esports as the founding esports director and head coach for Morgan State University in 2020 when we were tasked with the problem of engaging students at a distance due to the pandemic. And that solution was esports. Oftentimes in communities where I'm from and where our students are from that I'm serving within the HBCU space, video games are seen as a waste of time. And I was glad to really be able to create something within Morgan State University because we got into the space 2020, and today we now sit with 8 championships, over $350,000 brought in donations from Verizon, also winnings that we've had, done research on K through 12 side and collegiate. And more recently, Mountain Dew is going to be releasing a documentary that's featuring Morgan State University's esports program to advocate and to provide education on a larger scale. So for me, I'm really about making impact and informing people about the opportunities that exist with video games, because a lot of people think that they're a waste of time. And my thing is that it's creating unique STEM pathways to STEM fields. So that's why I'm here today. And looking also to build within the Baltimore community a STEM education facility in the upcoming years. But grateful to be here and pleasure to meet everyone.
Hey, Taryn, we have a lot of prospective esports players and their parents, potentially. I do have my daughter just turned 13. She's a Platinum 3 in Valorant, just saying, if Morgan State has a Valorant team going. But I know we're all very interested in that. Do you use esports as a recruiting tool to Morgan State, and how does that work?
So I use esports really at Morgan State to build community. Esports really does its own recruiting because we use a lot of social media. So we're within those platforms. Our students see it. I believe in meeting our students where we are. So definitely, esports is something where we're building community and we do organic recruitment. So necessarily, we haven't done that yet, but I'm sure once we actually start heavily recruiting, that we'll have a hefty roster. So far, we're at 170 members. So I say we're doing doing well so far.
Yeah, that's great to hear. We'll need to get the Valorant recruiting videos put together so that we'll have something ready for you in 5 years when she's ready
Absolutely.
to go.
Awesome. So who's next? How about Brent over there?
Yeah, thank you, Amy. Hello, everybody. My name is Brent Foley. I am a co-founder of my father of Zing Sports. The Zing Sports is a new gaming platform down here that we are starting in Puerto Rico for sports betting, and also Zing Sports AI, which is an AI platform to help make informed decisions for players who want to make plays with the books. We are located here in Puerto Rico. I've been in Puerto Rico since 2018. My whole living time has been about 4 years here, and really just enjoy being down here and getting to learn the community. There's a really vibrant space of locals within the gaming community. How I actually started getting into the esports, I've always played video games from all the Call of Duty 4s all the way up to the Black Ops 3 Modern Warfares, and really just always been passionate about playing video games. Now it's more into the Valorant and the League of Legends, which I have a lot of friends who have teams and play in tournaments there. And with this opportunity, we are opening the Puerto Rico chapter under the ESTA, and is really exciting opportunity to be able to grow that community down here for the Caribbean, and be able to be a beacon for that esports community from here in Latin America, as Puerto Rico is an English and Spanish audience. So it's going to bring a lot of diversification and a lot of opportunities to create those positive impacts within the community, through the career space, the development space, and just to bring everyone into a central location for discussion, where we can heighten the awareness of the community and all of the opportunities, that esports provides.
So how did you end up? Sorry about that. How did you end up in Puerto Rico? Tell us a little bit about that story of how you identified Puerto Rico and what the story is behind that.
Yeah, of course. My previous background, we have my family background is construction, and was working construction a few years after high school. And after Hurricane Maria happened at the late 2017, I learned a lot about Puerto Rico and did a lot of research at the time. And I saw that it was a really great opportunity to do masonry construction work. And that's ultimately what led me here to Puerto Rico. At that time, there's some blockchain space that I was also doing a lot of research and, get my feet wet there. And at that same time, there was also some major players who were moving to Puerto Rico, as we saw the Bitcoin go crazy at that end of 2017, 2018 time. Puerto Rico has a lot of really great tax incentives. So it brought a lot of people here to Puerto Rico, and then just the flowers just kind of bloomed into a new state. We right now, currently, we are also developing Dollar Zing, which is a gifting and receiving platform of an exchange of a dollar bill in a peer-to-peer game where you can take your $1 and double it 10 times to 1,024. And at whatever level you receive, 10% or more goes to a nonprofit that you play for. So we also focus our charitable efforts here in Puerto Rico. I do a lot of volunteer work with the nonprofits. I help coordinate events with them, and it's just that was kind of the first emerging into the gaming space, and through the network and connections there, and my father Jerry and his previous accomplishments, is kind of formed into one, and everything is kind of conjoining together now in Puerto Rico, and it's an awesome place to be.
Fabulous.
That is awesome. I've seen that Brazil shows up speaking of Latin America and South America, Brazil shows up so heavily in esports, and it's something I've been very excited to see them show up to the esports awards, and Loud winning the Valorant championship and coming in second to the most recent one. What's the scene like in Puerto Rico for esports? This could be for you or your dad.
Yeah, so esports, they do host tournaments here at the convention center. They have one that is going to be coming up at the end of this month, and it is I believe it's a Valorant tournament. So the two big ones is Valorant and League of Legends. One of my really good friends here, actually kind of bringing onto the team, he's I forget the top rank, but he's like within the top 200 of the server, of the Latin America server, and so he's considered a professional, and they have a team, and they just did a Valorant tournament then. And so it is active. There is a lot of activity. There's a few professional teams. Actually, I'm going to be introduced to the #1 Street Fighter. He won a World Street Fighter tournament that's from a team down here called Red Rooster. And looking forward to being introduced to them and learning more about what they do and what we do in order to work with in synergy there. And as I mentioned, really just growing that community from a vocal point where everyone can kind of come to one place for discussion and to be able to grow and learn what opportunities or networking that they can have within the Puerto Rico community.
Taking on an entire country. It's a brave effort. We're incredibly proud of you.
It's only 30 by 100. So, but yeah, thank you.
I have a fun fact. Our very first intern for the Esports Trade Association, Antonio, I don't know who of you might have met him. And one of his first questions when he interviewed for this project, he's a graduate of Loyola now. He was with us. Well, he's still with us, even though he left and graduated. One of his very first comments was, "I'm from Puerto Rico. Will we ever be able to do an esports event in Puerto Rico?" So when Brent joined, I was like, I have to call Antonio. and he's so excited. We have to go because I promised, sure, we'll go to Puerto Rico sometime. Yeah. So our chapter launch, to Antonio, who still does some help with us. So fun fact.
Cool. Yeah. Antonio is responsible for a lot of the graphics that you see. So very talented individual, the great production from the Puerto Rican island.
Yeah, that's right. We are Puerto Rican made.
How about you down there, Adam? Oh, sorry.
Oh, so I was just saying, I would love to meet Antonio, and if he's here on island, that would be an awesome connection.
Yeah. So what happened is he was with us for undergrad, and then he was with us for grad. And when he graduated, he left because it's probably best practice for students and graduates to go out there. So he was gone for, I would say, about 6 months. And then he said, okay, I'm ready to come back, so he does do some nights and weekends with us. And my hope is someday that he comes back fully. And I wonder, Amy, if we should have Jerry go, since we have a
Yes.
father-son. Okay, was that what you were
Yes.
doing? Okay, so go for it. Speaking of father-son teams, yeah. Yeah, go for it, Jerry.
You might be on mute.
Are you muted?
I did mute him. Okay, there we go.
Right. So yes, definitely. Thank you. Listening to Brent, and what I try to put myself in out here in Puerto Rico is, I'm Brent's dad. So I'm cool with that. And, and that's a good thing, whether it was Crypto Mondays last night or any other events that we do. But as Brent was saying, we're extremely excited about just the ESTA side and the chapter and just getting involved. And as you mentioned, it's just the relationships and groups, and just even right now, is special to us. So what we're doing is with Zing Sports is following along with our Dollar Zing. And that's something that I developed after where Megan and I first met. Was I had an app that I developed called Fantasy Sports Poker. And that was in real time cards, playing with the different sports we had, all the way from NFL to F1 to, NASCAR, to a lot of different things in between. But realized there was a time for a shift in that. And so we started at a Dollar Zing, and then with Dollar Zing down here on the island, we've been fortunate to meet some of the right people and had the opportunity to present for our first sports betting license. So, with that's where we're at right now. And we're literally launching our Zing Sports app here this week in a free-to-play mode. And, just trying to tie these in. But it's all, even our Zing Sports is gaming for a purpose. Our ESTA is going to be the same side. So it's Zing Sports Esports as a branding and as the chapter for Brent. And he'll be running that chapter. And so I'm just thrilled to be part of the space again, and I guess, and Megan and the other people, and just know that this is a right opportunity for us, and it is exciting down here in Puerto Rico. There's just a lot of opportunity and a lot of good that can be done. So, and our goals and objectives is to do good today, and that's how we want to try to portray things. And I think there's a lot of, as Taryn said, that education part. We're talking a lot about how that can be, and some of the boot camps that we talked about the other day on our call, Megan. And it's just, that's really, really important. We talked about it last night at our Crypto Monday meeting with one of our charities in the Blockchain Education Network, and just how that engagement is. And Taryn, to your point on the mental health side, which is pretty special to us also, Brent and I presented, and we were on a panel the Friday before the Super Bowl through one of our friends and one of our other relationships that we sponsored some events in New Jersey, and then at the Super Bowl here on Friday for mental health and awareness, and got to speak on that panel, not as somebody that knows about it, but it was just more of how we interact in a day-to-day life, in a day-to-day business, and challenges and whatever that may be, and just awareness. So it's something that's special in our hearts. So thank you very much, and we'll just continue to be here and learn together.
Bringing all that together, the education part, the charity part, the marketing that you are part of a charity or an education, all of those things can be really valuable. And maybe some things you don't think about is when you're presenting this to sponsors, perhaps there is an opportunity to bring in sponsors who are interested in educating, or sponsors who are interested in charity, things like that. And maybe that's something you need to talk to Veronica about. But ultimately, it is a lot. There's a lot of different buckets that you can grab sponsorship and attendees and interest from within the esports community.
Right. No, agreed.
There's a tremendous ecosystem, within Esports Trade Association, Jerry, that I've witnessed myself personally over the past year as a new member myself. And things such as health, wellness, mental health. That's one of the driving forces behind, my company as well. And there is a tremendous synergy among members. I'm really excited to be able to introduce you to some additional members who share, your passion. But I did think that I heard something about an app launch this coming week. Is that what you said?
I did. Brett and I just got off phone with our team. We're out of Dallas and in Las Vegas and Serbia. So we have a very special opportunity. We've been, some press releases have came out, some other things. It's a company called SB22, and they are just a really innovative group for one, but just a deep knowledge in sports and sports betting around the world, and specifically. And we were fortunate enough to be partnered up with them, and we just got off the call with our team, and I think our app and everything is ready to go. Like I said, it'll all be free to play to get started, and then we'll be able to integrate right in with our esports, right on top of the app, with Dollar Zing, with our refer a friend, to learning 101. I mean, just a lot of really good things that can be done. And then ultimately we'll be bringing on our charities that we have. We have 11 charities. I don't know if Brent mentioned that, but we do have 11 charities now that we have all been very involved with. And that was our first commitment over the year and a half or so that we came down and really said Puerto Rico is going to be our place. Is we never came in and said, hey, give us all your members, give us all your donors, give us all this. We said, you know what, we're going to be here. We're going to be boots on the ground. We're going to go clean stalls, to, do work, to beaches, to whatever it takes, Boys and Girls Clubs, all the things that we've done. And now it's really time to engage that relationship, I think. And we've been doing that. We've got a team down here, charity director, communications, web development, like I said, there's some exciting things coming, and this is a big piece of the puzzle, so to speak, and we want it to be a cornerstone of what we're doing. So that's where we're at with you guys too.
Fabulous. What's the name of the app, and when should we be looking for it?
So it will be Zing Sports, and it'll be like I said, they're going to submit tomorrow, maybe the latest Thursday. We're trying to maybe get lucky and hit, March Madness, some of these other things. And also down here, they have the World Baseball Classic. So that's big sport for Puerto Rico and what we're doing there. So
perfect game last night for Puerto Rico.
Yeah, I was right at the end, and I didn't know. I was going to ask Brent if they ended up.
Yeah, walk off in the 8th inning. Perfect game for Puerto Rico.
Oh, amazing.
Never before. First one in the World Baseball Classic, so super excited. Major League Baseball is one of my accounts, so
great. So yeah, that's where we're at, and I think what Brent said too is our opportunity, I think, down here is, because it is an island, is to really kind of bring people from around the world to these destinations and work with tourism, and we're working directly with tourism because our Zing Sports is approved by the tourism, and that's the panel that's done there. I personally kind of been through that process, and you go through a 20-year background, you're at least looking at somebody that's decent. When you try to remember 20 years ago and you go back, it's pretty intense. But so that's what we've been doing, and we're here to learn more every day.
Very cool.
Awesome. Well, Adam in the corner there. Hello.
Last but not least.
What's up, Adam?
Have you?
Hello. My name is Adam Flynn. I'm the Director of Business Development with Blackstar Group, and I have a background in business and marketing. I used to work with the events team that put together the Zombie 5K Mud Run for Your Lives way back in the day, and found my way into esports as a lifelong gamer. It's been pretty thrilling to find a career that works for me in an industry that I'm passionate about, that doesn't involve programming and things that I grew up thinking that computer games were only about. Blackstar Group is a company that specializes in networking, the physical internet infrastructure kind of networking. We build the the networks for professional level esports tournaments and facilities. So we manage many networks around the country right now and events around the globe. We manage the network at the esports stadium in Arlington, the largest dedicated esports venue. And they just wrapped up the Call of Duty Major Optic Major 3, which was a huge success. Apparently, it was sold out every day, and people were having trouble just getting in the door.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought I was going to be able to just buy tickets and roll over there with the kids, and that was not the case.
Apparently
It sold
not.
out
Yeah,
within,
I was.
a couple hours of the tickets coming out. So
yeah, it looked like a really good show.
Mhm.
I was sad that I didn't make it a point to try to get down there myself. Black Star is also headquartered out of Baltimore, and most of our team is here, but we do have remote workers all around, and we do work all over the globe. But we have our infrastructure built out in many different data networks, data centers. So we have our own network to leverage for the nuances and finesses that the esports requires, because we're at that cutting edge kind of thing where all of those tolerances matter. And so when these players can notice the difference in milliseconds, it really makes it so you can't do it with just a Nighthawk router that you buy off of the Best Buy shelf. So if you guys do want to do an event in Puerto Rico, we can come down there and help make that happen.
Yeah, well, that's definitely we're going to have that sidebar talk for sure, and that's a key element in this making something very, very successful.
Yeah, we've worked with all kinds of titles, lots of the EA titles like Madden, Apex Legends, FIFA was a lot of fun, and our bread and butter has always been Call of Duty. We've done World of Warcraft Arena. What haven't we done? Yeah, we also do experiential marketing events that are also tech heavy, need a lot of Wi-Fi coverage. We did an event with Adidas for a warehouse show in LA that they needed about 2 city blocks blanketed with Wi-Fi for a 2-day festival, and they had Kanye and Snoop Dogg and Childish Gambino. That was such a great concert. That was a fun build.
So it sounds like a Morgan State Invitational in Puerto Rico featuring Black Star artists.
Yeah, let's bring it all together.
It sounds like we got a whole plan coming together.
Yes.
We'll try to work out, see if we could get Onwell Double A or Onwell or maybe even Bad Bunny. I mean, he's only a few.
Oh wow!
So.
That would be amazing.
He's got Adidas shoes. This sounds perfect.
Make it happen. We'll make it work.
Yeah, you got Bad Bunny shoes. So anyone with an Adidas shoe line and in Puerto Rico, brought to you by Morgan State. Perfect. We got it.
Perfect symmetry.
Yeah.
Adam, my husband was actually there at the tournament.
Fantastic.
And, yes, and I have to say he was like sending me videos constantly over the weekend, and I was blown away at just how big, beautiful, amazing, seamless it was.
Yeah.
So kudos to you for that. But I was so surprised. My kids even got such a kick out of it when the entire audience started singing Sweet Caroline. And I thought, now that I did not expect.
Always a crowd pleaser. That's
yes, I was like, okay, that was one thing I did not expect to see, but it was just really, really well done. And everybody was talking about just what a great event it was.
That's awesome. I'll be happy to provide we had team on site for that event, and it's always good to provide good feedback and know that even though we're behind the scenes, we're helping make everything work and provide the best experiences we can for the end client, which is the people that are enjoying it.
Yeah, and to add to that, a well-run event makes event marketing so much better.
Especially after the event.
Well, we
yeah.
are here real briefly. I'm sorry, Megan. We are here at the bottom of the hour, and I do have to run. But I'd love to invite everyone to continue to stay and talk. Thank you so much for having me help host this one, Dr. Amy. Fantastic job. Really pleasure to hear from Brent, Jerry, Veronica, Taryn, and of course Adam. Good to see you again. Hope to hear from you all again
Always.
soon, and keep the conversation
Thank
going.
you.
Thanks so much.
Good to meet you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate
Our
it.
tireless chairman. I was going to say, Veronica, when you're marketing an event, are you able to kind of have an idea of the quality of event by what you're provided with as an? I've never really met
Oh,
a
absolutely.
marketing firm. Okay.
Yes, absolutely. And I think especially for organizations that are starting with events or doing their first couple events, like for us, like when we put together our strategic plan, marketing plan, it actually already shows some holes, right? Like for some of the event planners. And I think that's like a good lesson for them. It's like, oh, I never thought about this. Like, oh, because, you know, when you do really well event marketing, and people look at this like, oh, like this is cool. It looks easy, but it's not, right? Like if the event isn't organized and we don't know what's happening next, or, you know, where all the moving pieces are, well, we can't market that, right? Like we can't be the ones like looking for things. So I think even when you get started, to have a marketing agency that has experience in event marketing, we can already point out just like, you need to be thinking about this. You need to be thinking about this. You know, here's what you need to think about. Here's what we need. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. It can be night and day.
That's the curse of being good at what you do. We make it look easy, so everybody
Right.
thinks that they might be able to do it, but
Yes.
they don't know what
Oh,
they don't know. It's the
right.
same in the world of in our world in networking.
Yeah, you know, when I started with one of my with one of our esports clients, I was actually on the floor at the event, helping the operations part. So I know all the different moving pieces that go in, and because we have experience on Twitch and Discord and, you know, all the social media, it's like, oh, we need this, and like this needs to be happening now, and your Twitch team needs to be doing this, and, you know, here's what we're missing. And my marketing team, we do a lot of obviously like real-time marketing during the actual live event. They can point out issues, you know, it's like the mics are live, you know, we can't have that. Or, you know, there can be many different things that we can point out. So we become more than just the marketing team. We become part of the events team. So yes, to your question, absolutely, Megan, absolutely.
So Veronica, does that mean that you had mentioned, you know, Discord, Twitter, you know, if you're talking from the event side, from a brand building side, what are like the top types of, you know, partners that you're looking for in organizations that are really beneficial to where you can provide the most value, and, you know, ways that the trade association members and people who are tuning in can kind of connect with you? How can we best do that?
Well, good question. Lots of answers for that question. But just to start, you know, everybody is different. So I would say, you know, we can help in many different ways, and it needs to be strategic. So one thing that we are compared to, you know, some of the other marketing agencies, we're strategic because we understand that there's so many moving puzzle pieces. Every buyer persona of every client is different. Sometimes you have multiple, and where do they live? Like, for example, one of our clients was the University of California, Irvine, with their esports program, you know, and we were trying to optimize, get more people into the program. And we actually found platforms that were more visited by esports participants, people interested in the industry and such, right? So in video gaming, what I learned was like, you gotta go to where the gamers are. they're not coming to you, right? Where are they? Where do we find them? And sometimes we find them on platforms that our client didn't think about. It's like, oh, okay. So in that case, we tried out a new platform and we hit a jackpot. They had never advertised there before. So I think it's all about strategic, and as a strategic agency, like we can help, any kind of organization. And if we don't know how to do it, we will tell you, that's not what our superpower is. We stay within our superpower because we know we can make a difference. And we look at him optimizing all the time because it never stops. So yeah, I mean, if there's an organization here that thinks like, we haven't thought much about marketing yet, I think we're doing an okay job, but we could do better. It's great to just have a conversation. Maybe we're a match or we're not. We're not always a match,
Right.
but often we are a match. And one thing that we are, because I come from video gaming, we here in the esports space, we think very differently about business. We're very forward thinking, which is really exceptional. And, and if a business is not forward thinking, I can tell you we're not a good match. Right? But if you're forward thinking and you are open to new ideas, then we could be an amazing match. So yeah, let's jump on a call.
Fabulous. What's the best way for people to reach you? Like through a website, through a contact? Is there like a website that you could give us?
Yeah, we're Jumpstart Now. So we're jumpstart-now.com. But you can find me on LinkedIn, where we are right now. So I'm on LinkedIn all the time. It's my number one messenger. So LinkedIn Messenger, Veronica Monell. You can't miss me. There aren't many people who are spelled Veronica with a K and Monell. I think there's only one person, and that's me. So you should be able to easily find me. And I think I am actually tagged, right, Megan? So yeah.
Perfect. I have to say that having a different, unique spelling is a superpower. Having no vowels in my last name, I can speak for experience on that, Veronica.
Nice.
And you're right. I always know to put in the K.
Yes.
Great.
Thank you.
Okay.
What I do like the sounds of super quick, Amy, is that it sounds like your team could be the marketing department without having the heavy lift of one. And that's what I loved about her agency when she joined. I thought that would be really great for so many because there's so much with events and esports. So we're so pleased to have you with us, Veronica.
Thank you. Thank you,
she's
Megan.
also, we're going to do some sort of arrangement, partnership, sponsorship. I'm not sure exactly. We haven't talked it through about doing our marketing for Esports Next, which is super exciting. Yes, we'll be figuring that out this week.
Nice.
So yes,
Fabulous.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, and I'm thinking about how, when it comes to things like event planning, when it comes to marketing, being an brand owner and an entrepreneur in our space, there's so much that we don't know. And, finding people, good people that we can trust, finding people that know the industry, because if you think you're an expert in everything, obviously we've realized very quickly that you're not. You're not supposed to be the smartest person in the room when you're, a brand and when you're running the company. You've got to figure out the way to find the people who really know their lane super, super well and can integrate synergistically with other people to help, achieve whatever your objective is, whether it's, launching a brand, furthering a brand or a product, or putting on events, whatever that need is. So to have a space where you can find good people who are experts in their industry and really good about collaborating and partnering, I think that that's a huge value of a trade association. From you know, my background being an eye doctor, and we have, you know, our trade associations and our professional organizations, we know those work really well to connect with each other. To see that happening in esports with, you know, what we're doing here at ESTA is tremendous. There's such an important network to have, like that hub, you know, and being able to build that spider web bigger and bigger and bigger, and have those channels where people can find each other is such an important gateway, you know, in the industry. So, you know, Megan, I love it when you talk about your background a little bit when it comes to trade associations and kind of how all of this came to be. I think that would be great for our members to know your background there.
Oh, Amy, this is such a perfect LinkedIn Live for that, because I've worked in so many industries. Mostly I've done electric sport industries, like fan engagement, fantasy sports. And one of the reasons why we started this association is there was a sliver at that time where esports wasn't represented in a trade association. We thought it would be so much value to bring the fantasy sports guys over, gals as well, excuse me, to the association. And it, you know, what's interesting is it's happening more now. You know, Jerry and Brent are a great example of members that were, you know, part of the last association that I represented, and now they're here. And I just love bringing great people together, and it's so nice that they're sister associations and that we, you know, work so well together. So one of the things I would say is, regardless where you are, do the best you can and be the best you can be and serve in the greatest way. Because just as soon as Jerry and Brent launched their fantasy or their esports strategy, they called me and I was like, come when you're ready, you know, wait a minute, you're in Puerto Rico. I've got to fulfill this old promise of mine. And they're also different. You know, esports is a little more chill. They're a stand for authenticity. They're like, who the heck is Megan Van Petten? We want to see her face, you know? So that was different. I was always behind the scenes as a servant leader, and now I'm in front. And that was a really challenging adjustment, Amy, but it was one of the best things I've ever did. And then the biggest surprise to me was the way that the scholastic esports departments at universities embraced us. And they're really trying to get this next generation to understand the value of being part of a professional community and getting experience when you're in your critical years of building your network, because you are only as good as your reputation, your network, and a job well done. And that has been the most beneficial part of this job. When I first joined, Amy, and I was telling people what a trade association is, I was like, oh my God, I can't believe I'm doing this. And it's the best conversation I could have ever asked for. It's like been such a surprise.
Awesome. I have a kind of a funny story. When I was a little girl, I was down in Puerto Rico on a business trip, and it was one of the most, I think it was the first time I'd ever really like gone on an airplane, you know, and traveled somewhere, and it was such a great experience. But you know, I couldn't believe how welcoming the people were, and just what a warm and wonderful place Puerto Rico is. And all these years, I can't believe I'm saying this, there's a sandwich that it's a kind of like an empanada, but I'm not sure exactly what you call it. And it's like a Cubano type of a, you know, ham and pickle and all these really great flavors and stuff that come together. And I've got to ask you, is that like a pretty standard thing in Puerto Rico? Is the food is amazing?
Yeah, the food is really good here, and you know, you're right on with the empanadas. I mean, they have all types of empanadas. They got empanadas which are like non-fried, and then they got the empanadillas, which are the fried version. So I mean, they're both you know, excellent food here. A little bit more on the fried side, I do gotta say. You know, but ultimately maybe not the healthiest, but it is all good at the end of the day.
That's so cool.
And to your point, Amy, no, that was really cool to hear that, and for you to share that experience, because when I first moved here to Puerto Rico, that was something that I experienced as well, was how welcoming the community was, on all places around the island. And just, everyone was just so friendly to where, they'll like take the shirt off their back for you to help. And Puerto Rico is a very strong community with its, bond and with its pride as, being from Puerto Rico. It's it's a really unique standpoint that they have here. Everything that they've kind of shown in the past, now to 5 years, they've really had a few testimonials to prove how strong the Puerto Rican community is. And and to go to what, the talent that is also here in Puerto Rico. I know, as you mentioned, Megan, where that talent is, their mission is to go kind of to the States and venture off and be able to, kind of secure better positions stateside. And that is, that's wonderful, because Puerto Rico, it's produces a lot of amazing engineers, scientists, developers, and doctors. And that is all that is, it's great that, they go off and go to the US or other countries, but it's also important now that, that they come back here, or that we create the opportunities here for Puerto Rico, and to create a more stable economy for, for those people who are going to be joining that career force. There's definitely been lots of challenges here in the last 5 years, but it's a turning point that is happening right now, because with everything from, Maria to to COVID to earthquakes, and then even last year we got hit by Hurricane Fiona, which wasn't that bad as far as like a destruction, but what it really did cause a lot of damage was the flooding and the rain flood, the landslides. I went and helped do, feed a community that was out in the Patillas area. And they were actually, it was about a month and a half. And we were there on the first day that the bridge reopened. But other than that, they were completely secluded from the rest of the island. No electricity, no, running water. And, they were very happy for you could say, kind of our squad or our team that, showed up to help, serve at this food kitchen. Or it was actually an old church, and there was a professional chef that came out, and they got these big bowls, and I'm forgetting the name of it right now, but you can literally feed hundreds of people in this one batch of food. And so it's a really special bond and opportunity. And then, of course, trying to limit that brain drain that we've seen occurring over the past few decades, and inviting Puerto Ricans to come back to their home and to be able to help continue building in this next decade, because I think it's going to be a very pivotal moment for Puerto Rico in time.
Absolutely. I find it's so interesting how you're talking about family, community, and people pulling
Amazing.
together. And the gaming community is so big and yet so small. I mean, Veronica, we end up on LinkedIn Live at the
Right.
same time.
Right.
And people meet each other, and it doesn't matter if my partner Doug Kennedy, he's been around video game industry for over 25 years, and he'll say the same thing. I know so and so from, I've known him for 2 decades. Mm-hmm. And people just seem to come full circle, and all that the industry is so big and vast, yet these relationships keep us very well connected and small, which is fascinating. It's like you make these little tiny microcosms that work in the video game industry. It's very unique, and it's just so powerful.
Absolutely. I even with my marketing agency and everything that I do, I still work with some of my former video game colleagues some of them are still in the industry, some are in related industries, tech, crypto, blockchain, NFTs. So it's like we're coming full circle a little bit, and it's actually really exciting. You know, I mean, the gaming industry has always been a very exciting industry. I mean, so much fun. You know, talking about having fun at work. Like, who doesn't want that, right? Like, we're living the life.
It is. And it's super funny of these last two associations, the fantasy sports guys and the video game guys and gals. I just mean people. So
Right.
there's two perceptions that are hilarious. One perception is when I used to have the fantasy sports events, many of the venue would presume it was like a beer, drink, and pizza eating group. Like, we're going to watch football. I'm like, no, this is Harvard statisticians. They don't even drink. Sorry, put caviar on your budget, not pizza. And then the other funny one is the video game community. People are thinking, oh, the basement, like loner. They're the most social group I've ever represented.
Right.
So
Yes.
social. So where they're not alone. They're not playing by themselves. They're actually with friends and love friends, more celebrated than I've ever seen. So this group just runs to be together, wraps themselves around lanes of buildings for hours and hours and days to sleep out, to get the tickets sell out. And that it's just so interesting to me. I mean, I just love, one of the things I love about what I do is I get to shift how I do it for each culture and each community.
Sure.
And this one is so fun. Veronica, you've got it. It's fun, and it's people that really want to be together. And not that some don't, but the quality of togetherness and the stand for authenticity is really present for me as I study this culture.
Yes, absolutely.
So if anybody's going to be at the Game Developers Conference coming up next week in San Fran, please reach out.
Okay.
I'm going to be there.
Nice.
And, I love,
it's a fun one too.
Yes, I've never been, but I've heard it's really fun. So I'm super excited. I know that my husband Tom is going to be at PAX. So I come home and he goes to Boston. So I think it's great if any of you are going to be at these locations and these events, like, please communicate. Hit me up. I'd love to meet in person. I think that's one of the coolest things about these types of events, like a LinkedIn Live. Put it out there, like, what you're looking for. My company is looking to meet people who want to make that positive impact. We're raising money, so we're looking for, investors and relationships and doing those things as well as a beverage within the gaming community. But I think the more that we meet each other in person, the more that we can figure out how to connect dots. And I call my husband a master relationship officer, because he really is good about figuring out when it's not you trying to further your business, but you're looking for ways of how you can further someone else's agenda and business, and how you can help partner. All of these doors tend to open. And I think that's a tremendous value that Esports Trade Association brings members. That's something that you can't really put a figure on, but it is a priceless benefit to form friendships and relationships where you can connect with each other. And I know, Veronica, I need to connect with you because I already have someone in mind that I think would be a great referral for you. So I want to make sure
amazing.
that, I make some introductions, and, please, make sure that we connect with each other off of the live, and all of you, if there's, introductions that we can make, that's what we're all here to do. And I can't wait to meet in person in Chicago. So Megan, tell us about that event that's coming up.
Oh my gosh. Well, the first of all, we should say where we're all going to be next. I'm going to be here at C2E2. I'm going to be there on the Friday. I was just looking at my calendar. It's the 31st, representing the Esports Trade Association. And so thanks, Amy. And before y'all leave, we have just about 1 minute. Everybody should say where you're going to be next. And of course, save the date for Esports Next 2023 in Chi-Town. Come and try a Sly. beverage. It won't disappoint. It's an amazing event. We started with a Cubs game, which you don't want to miss. We have evening receptions. We have an elevator pitch. We have day receptions. We have strong networking, a panel of funness, and great opportunities for all. August 20th and 21st, I believe, or 22nd.
Awesome.
So thank you. And everybody, let us know where you're going to be next. I'm going to be at C2E2, Friday the 31st. Amy, you're going to be
San Francisco Game Developers Conference next Monday and Tuesday. In
Nice.
San Fran.
Veronica.
I'm sure I'm going to be in many different places, but one of the ones that are scheduled is California State Fair, which is going to have an esports component. Woohoo!
Yes.
Awesome.
Well, I'm really looking forward to the ESTA conference here in August. That is the the first big event on the list, but I'm going to be here in Puerto Rico, and within that time, between then and now is to have some of these events and plan some events in person here as well.
Great.
And we
How about
can't
you, Adam?
imagine where you're going to be, Adam.
I don't have any specific plans for travel in the immediate future. We do have other events coming up at the Esports Stadium in Arlington where our team will be,
Nice.
and we'll be next month at another big live event in Ohio.
Nice.
Fantastic.
Well, hopefully maybe the International Boat Show this weekend in Puerto Rico to showcase and find that event that we can provide for before the events start or during or whatever it is for some of our great guests and people and networking and all that stuff. So that's the next place to be.
Jerry, we should do a boat night here in Chicago.
That'd be awesome.
A great sponsorship opportunity.
Yeah, let's find one of those.
Look, why don't we consider that?
Okay.
Charles Conray, one of our founding board members, told me years ago that we're not legit until we take a boat cruise. And
Well, that's August 22nd.
Nice.
That's my daughter's birthday, and we'll invite her over there from Utah. She's in her residency up there, so that would be
Nice.
awesome. Let's do it.
Well,
And I promised her this year on August 22nd I would take her on a cruise, right, Brent? We were going to do it in Puerto Rico, but now we're going to do Chicago. She loves
That's
Chicago.
hilarious for two reasons. One, we've always wanted to do this. It's on our bucket list. But do you know August 22nd is the world's largest esports birthday party? Because it's our chairman's birthday. And we always do a big birthday card of all the birthdays.
Nice.
James's birthday. It's a lot of people's birthday, Amy. Do you remember? But when you sign in, you sign this big card, so she'll be part of the largest esports birthday party, August 22nd.
Amazing. Yeah, and those boat tours in Chicago are incredible. One of our partners, Sprout Social, is in Chicago, and we were invited to one of the boat tours. It's incredible.
Well, we've got enough time to plan. So let's do that the last, night 2, whatever the date is. I'd have to look at my calendar, but we'll connect. I know where you live, Jerry. I know where all your houses are.
There we go.
Nice.
All right.
All
That's
right.
exciting. Thank you, everybody.
What a great LinkedIn Live. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
Enjoyed it.
Appreciate
All
that.
right.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. We'll
Bye,
talk
everyone.
soon.
Bye.
Bye.
Adam, Veronica, Emmy, thank you.
Bye.
Yes.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Fabulous.
They're always so fun.